Hey legends, and welcome back to the Sim Racing channel where we're counting down the days for the Automobilista 2 full release. Today we've got another interim update, possibly one of the last, if not the last, before the big 1.0 release later on this month. This one deals primarily with improving the AI strength logic, so hopefully for the first time ever, we'll actually have raceable AI in this game without major glaring flaws, and the other secondary updates as per usual are to the force feedback and physics. Because the patch notes on this one are very short and succinct, we're just going to run through them very quickly and then jump straight into a race and see how the AI go. So the primary thing is that the build introduces a new AI strength logic, and now the setting works more similarly to how it did in AMS 1, as a more straightforward AI grip multiplier without affecting other aspects such as AI performance and behavior to offer a much wider and more consistent scalar for setting up AI difficulty. As in AMS 1, the AI strength slider is now restricted to a range of 70 to 120%. They go into detail, but essentially what this means is that 90% is the default to have it set to, 100% should be representative of real-world car performance, so we'll do our race with 100% and see how they race us. Beyond this, the only other major update is that the force feedback has been capped to a rate of 360 Hz to minimize potential issues with asynchronous rates. And other than that, there's some fine-tuning for all car-specific max force filters and smoothing, and they've also revised code to fix or at least mitigate issues with force feedback causing wheels to pull either hard left or right, which I'm sure will be very welcome to those of us with direct drives that have almost lost an arm or a shoulder socket once or twice. So, with that said, we're not going to get into any of the other updates, they're all just miscellaneous fixes to the AI, physics, and a couple of tracks and cars here and there. So let's jump straight into, I think it's going to be Suzuka with the Sigma P1. Let's see how it goes. Alright, here we are in the Sigma P1 at Suzuka, aka the... what do they call it? The Kansai GP, that's right. I hope they get the actual license to this track so we can actually call it what it is. So the goal here is to evaluate the AI and see if any of these AI logic changes have taken effect and done something meaningful for us. Now, I'm no authority on the subject. Apparently I'm playing bumper cars already, but I'm much more of a hot lapper slash race Mother Nature kind of guy. It must be due to my long rally heritage. Whoa, okay then. That aside, AI are remarkably slow. Come on, go. They're suffering from a bit of that first lap-itis, that's for sure. They're quite easy to overtake on the first couple of corners. So we'll see how much damage we can do to the field. As someone who isn't entirely familiar with this circuit, I figure this might be a really good one to try out because the AI is going to have a bit of a leg up over me. Now, the developers recommended setting this to 100 out of 120. In order to get a quote-unquote real-world type performance, whatever that means. But I did notice that at 100 they just wouldn't race whatsoever. So I'm not sure whether that's due to me cranking the boost from this car up to 100% from 80. Maybe that kind of overpowered it for this class. Maybe the AI doesn't do that. So I just thought I'd make up the difference by jacking up the AI difficulty a little bit. They seem to be speeding up a little bit halfway through the track. The draft is certainly very powerful, either that or I've got a lot more boost than that car. Alright, let's see if we can get the inside here. I've got to say their awareness of the human player isn't quite as visceral as I might like. I'm getting tapped around quite a lot. They're still a bit slow exiting that corner for some reason. Unfortunately, all of my glorious setups for the Sigma P1 went out the window, along with all the physics updates for this car. Okay, what's going on there? Got a bit of a zombie walk coming from off the track. I had to disable crew chief on account of you guys not being able to hear me, so I'm not quite aware of where these cars are in relation to me when I'm racing. So my apologies if I end up punting someone. I'm sure they won't mind though. They don't seem like the most intelligent blokes around. Really got to watch the grip on that Astro. Really changes off there. So, on the whole, AI seems to be racing each other a little bit. For the most part, they're still training quite a lot though. I can't say this is any kind of groundbreaking AI behavior. From what I've played, ACC still behaves the most lifelike, if you will. They feel like they're on the same physics model as the player, even though they might not be. Alright, and that shot us wide. And apparently I'm supposed to return to position 7. For what reason, I don't know. So it'd be nice if this guy actually overtook me. Thank you. So I've got to say, racing the AI, probably still not the most enthralling experience of my life. I would have hoped that with the game being a week or so out from release, that maybe, just maybe, it'd be a bit further along, a little bit more of an airtight package. Let's see. As you can see, I've kind of scripted in a bit of rain to come in for us, mostly just to see how that's all interacting. I know that at one point the AI were having a very different experience of wet weather to the player, and I'm curious whether that's still the case. I'm also partially still curious about a few other things, like the first thing that's really cool is that the rain droplets actually go up at speed, so that's a nice change. The other one is, I need to find out whether the windscreen wiper actually works. I mean, whether or not it does, it appears the animation is not in place, so there's that. Oh god. Okay, so there's definitely some effect on our soft compound slicks. AI doesn't seem to mind whatsoever though. We're definitely locking up a lot in the wet weather. It's a bit of a strange one, like I get no indication from the AI that they're struggling with the wet track. See, I just completely aquaplaned off and they just like completely stuck to the track like rails or something. Now I'm not sure if this is, if my judgment's been clouded over because I've been watching all that Project Cars 3 footage or whatever. But just coming back to this engine after... Oh god, seriously? Coming back to this engine after spending a lot of time in rFactor 2 playing with the Ferrari 48 GTE, yeah, this is completely useless trying to race on slicks. Let's see if we can get it across the line, that'll be enough for me. I can just kind of recount what's going on. But yeah, you know, there's still that 10 to 15% simcade element in this engine. I can't quite account for what it is. It doesn't look nearly as bad as Project Cars 3, but maybe seeing all of that footage surface recently has made me a little bit more attuned to the more simcade-like characteristics of this game. The AI seems completely unraceable on slicks in the wet weather. They handle it completely differently. It's almost like the rain isn't even there for them. All of these things just make me think that the game isn't quite ready yet, like it could use another maybe month or two of early access, just a bit more refinement time, you know? And I hope that they use that. If the PC release functions as basically a gigantic open beta, I hope that they use that to refine the console versions, because I know that they're going to be far less forgiving when it comes to full releases. Certainly with the amount of competition when it comes to racing games on consoles. Alright, so things are getting really difficult now. Still no AI in sight, I'm sure they're just munching this track like nothing's wrong. But yeah, that about rounds it out. I think the only time I'm ever really disappointed with this game is when I come directly off rFactor 2. It's just not at that quality level yet. I do hope that it eventually gets there. I would love to see rFactor get some direct competition when it comes to just pure driving, straight up handling model and all that fun stuff. AI isn't quite there yet, unfortunately, despite all the changes that they keep making, but you know, I have faith in Reza. I have faith that they're going to continue working on this game well after the 1.0 release, so I look forward to what comes about. So this is probably one of the final, if not the final update before the full release. I've definitely got a big full review cooking for that one when it eventually comes out. So I plan to really get into the nitty-gritty and sort of cover every facet of the game that I can think of. So if you guys are interested in that and want to stay abreast of all the happenings in the... Wow. Let's just park it. Let's call it a day. If you guys want to stay abreast of all the happenings in the AMS2 sphere, make sure to smash that sub, and until the final release, we'll see you guys next time.